We have Austin from Llama, right? Could you explain what you guys do through the platform or the project?
Yeah, so at Llama, we got our start contributing to a lot of the big protocols and communities. And so we work with projects such as Uniswap, Aave, Nouns, ApeCoin, Maker, Lido, Balancer, and a bunch of others. And we do a mix of things, everything from treasury management to protocol engineering. And starting this year, we've taken all those learnings over the past year and a half or so, and we've put that into a governance product.
Okay. What do you do with that? I mean, what do you mean by governance product?
Yeah, so what governance means to me in the crypto landscape is when you build something like a protocol or a smart contract system. How do you make decisions on the ongoing operations of that protocol? And so, to give an example, with something like Aave, which is a lending borrowing protocol, someone or some group of people have to choose what assets to list and the risk parameters for those assets and the borrowing limits and all that stuff. And typically the way groups have accomplished that so far is through token voting.
Right.
And so what we're building is you can think of it as like an alternative to that.
Okay, interesting. So what made you brought here? Like, why did you come to Japan?
Yeah, so it's a really exciting week for crypto in Japan. I'm going to be on a panel at the DAO Tokyo event, which is going to have a lot of the service providers who contribute to DAOs and make up these groups of people who weigh on decisions like funding grants programs and editing protocol parameters to kind of make these operational decisions for the protocol. I'm going to be mentoring the ETH Global hackathon, and I'm going to be spending my week just meeting with a lot of builders in both who are visitors and based in Japan. Tokyo has one of the best crypto ecosystems, so I'm excited to meet all the great projects and see what they're building and see if there's anything we can help them with.
I see. I think this week we have East Tokyo. That's I think the first ETH Global events happening in Tokyo. Is that right?
Yeah.
And how do you feel about like Japan economy or Japan Web3 community?
Yeah, it's always Japan and Tokyo specifically has always had one of the strongest builder communities. It's a good home for crypto because there's a lot of technology employees already based here, and so it's easy for them to pick up on kind of the new technology and understand how to build in the space, and they resonate with the kind of like ideals of crypto, and so it's and there's always been, because of the the geographic distance and the time zone difference, the ecosystems are a bit different, and so you find what the most popular DeFi protocols that consumers use in the States or in Europe is maybe different than what's in Japan. And so if you're a builder such as myself who's building something like a governance product that any team building a crypto app can use, I think it's really important to attend these events and talk with these teams and understand their problems and see how they differ, because otherwise you're just limiting the scope of your business.
Sure. Going back to your product, why did you even start building your product? What was the point that you started?
Yeah, so what originally got me curious about it was the this idea of protocol governance is really interesting. You can think about it like every product you use, all software you use has some sort of governance. Every social network, just typically the way it's done is it's some company behind closed doors that are making all these decisions for you, and you as a user usually find out. You're usually the last person to find out, and if you disagree with the decision, there's really not much you can do. If you disagree with the decision that Twitter is making, then you basically just have to leave and build a social following from scratch at some new place. And so how governance works in with crypto applications is it's a lot more transparent, and so these decisions are made in the open. And there's a stronger separation between the data and the functionality of the application. So you can take your data and move it elsewhere if you disagree with the decision. And lastly, and most importantly, you actually have input into these decisions that are being made. And so we saw a lot of lending borrowing platforms that were centralized, unfortunately, go out of business last year. And you can contrast that with a lending borrowing protocol like Aave, where if they're doing something that you find risky, you can explicitly vote against it and voice your opinion. And if it still gets passed and you disagree, then you can move all your assets off the platform. And so it's really nice to know too that for these lending borrowing protocols or any project that builds governance, that whether it's the founder or the core team or anyone, if they want to make a change, they have to go through the same process that everyone else has to go through. No one has a backdoor where they can just make a decision without informing others.
I see. And also, currently maybe the market is still relatively smaller than other segments in Web3, but do you still see like growth and also attention towards your product or DAO itself? I mean, DAO in general?
Yeah, there's been the past. I would still say DAOs haven't had their moment, like something like DeFi did in 2020 or NFTs did in 2021. It's still a bit more a newer concept. People are still getting familiar with it and understanding it. But it's grown a lot in the past few years, and now it's become it's almost like it's the default decision where if you're a user of one of these projects, you expect that there's going to be a DAO, and community governance is going to be an important ideal of the project, and the users and the community of the project is going to have a stronger say in how important decisions are made. And so it's still kind of in that phase where there are some very big DAOs. You take something like Uniswap that has hundreds of thousands of token holders and billions of dollars in its treasury, but it's still not mainstream in the way DeFi or NFTs are. So that means it's the best time to be building and solving these problems to make it mainstream.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Austin.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Lastly, could you give some message to the audience?
Yeah, I think crypto, seeing what happened last year in crypto and the broader macro and tech has, maybe discouraged a lot of people. But it's a really, whenever, now after being through a few of these cycles, actually the best time to build is kind of when the tourists leave and the noise clears out, and you can really just focus on creating value for users, solving real problems, and the people you're working with will be really strong and will be doing it for the right ways as well. And so I encourage anyone who's kind of on the fence to take a jump. You can reach out to me at Austin Green on Twitter and DM me, and if there's anything I could do to help, I'd be happy to do that too.
All right. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.